YouTube, today I have an account for you that is going to blow your mind because it has broken me. I have stared at this account for yesterday's stream, today's stream, and I am still stumped on how to help it. And I've been reviewing accounts for years. And sometimes, just sometimes, an account slips through the net. They don't know what they're doing, or at least they don't know how to make optimal progress. And you find accounts like this, and you cringe. And then you find out they thought they were doing great. They were spending money. They were having a blast. But then it lands on your table. An account reviewer for a living who then realizes, oh boy, what have we got here? Folks, we have this. A level 145 VIP 9, soon to be VIP 10 account. That's a lot of money. That really is. Almost 9 grand. Now, when I look at this account, and I think that's quite a low level, why is that? Well, turns out they took a big break in the middle. And I'm like, okay, so you've spent that kind of money? I want to see Transcendence Heroes, I want to see Artifacts, I want to see Stellar Shards, I want to see Sublimation. What have we got to show for it? And then you look at the heroes. Tree of Origin 3, Sword Flash. Void 1, Eos. Void 3, Asmodel, the Dauntless. Spare Stellar Shards in bag? None. We have ourselves a Copman. Never, ever, 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 ever go into the conversion and convert your spheres into Crystals of Transcendence. It will get you Transcendence Heroes, but you will have no Stellar Shards to back them up. You will not be able to make them Tree of Origin. You will not be able to make them strong, and they will suck. Our friend here, Mafia, has learned that lesson and has promised never ever to go for Crystals of Transcendence again. But once a mistake is done, a mistake is done. It cannot be fixed. And that is going to be the truth for this account in general. We have Amun-Ra, Aspen, Vesa, and Queen. 3 heroes that could be made transcendent. You ask, why are these here? Built in preparation to become transcendent. No, you don't do this. Vesa sucks. Queen sucks. They suck as E5s. If you look at our total of Crystals of Transcendence, we are nowhere near building a hero to the transcendent level. We haven't got another one coming. So this Aspen, this Vesa, this Queen, that is 3 E5s that do absolutely nothing on this account. They're not tenants, and they don't give us any progress because they are weak and suboptimal. Maybe Aspen, you could argue, could be kind of good for a Dark Hero, but really you'd rather have Carrie and Drake in here, 2 heroes we do not have. Aspen should not be a priority build. Vesa, useless. Queen, useless. Terrible heroes. And then we've got Natalie, the brand new hero. A little bit painful that this was built because I could have thought of several other light heroes we could have gone for. Maybe even tenants, because the owner of this account said they really like Asmodel the Dauntless, but unfortunately we can't build him because, first of all, there's no A tiers on the market, so we can't really invest in a giant killer copy, which is what you'd really need to build him as an early hero. And as well, we can't really build any light tenants for him, like Tussalago and a copy of himself, because first of all, we don't really have copies, and second of all our light food is trapped inside a Vulcan and a Natalie. And when it comes to soul symbols, we've only got 20, which is going to make fixing this really, really difficult. On top of that, there's only Tree of Origin 3 on this Sword Flash, and to take Sword Flash higher, you'd think, oh boy, let's go do the Glory Challenge, but we haven't done it. So we need 10 soul symbols to strip that Sword Flash, with additional copies of soul symbols to go ahead and build and destroy the following heroes. But then I saw in the bag, we have 657,000 spiritual essence, which means we can do the Glory Challenge without having to regress Sword Flash at all. And I'm like, wait, what, how? Where did that come from? And then you find out that you've been investing in spiritual essence when you could have gone for sublimation. Now, if the Glory Challenge never existed, I'd forgive you, because that's what we used to have to do. But now the Glory Challenge exists. The Glory Challenge gives you 600,000 in this mid area and 2.1 million on the bottom. So that's 2.7 million of those potatoes. There is no reason to ever pick them up. And on top of that, you might think, well, did we ever get sublimation? Well, sure we did. Sword Flash has a full active and a full basic. And do we have any sublimation in the bag? I sure hope. At almost VIP 10, we've got a load of chests. We've got one. So where did the sublimation go? Well, it's currently anniversary this week, and the top rewards selected are the following. Artifact, 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 Flag, Artifact, and then a sublimation chest. We could have had a lot more sublimation. We could have even had Cause of Origin. But instead, we picked up artifact chests. Now, many of you would say, well, I guess they needed artifacts then, right? Well, let's go see what artifacts we have to show for it, because they've already been opened. As you can see, the artifact chests do not exist. They have already been pulled. And that means we've got to go see what they were used on. 2 melodic strings, a Punisher of Immortal, and a glittery Antlers cane with 2 glittery demon bells. Damage, damage, more damage, and mediocre, if at all possible, energy feed. That is not very good. If you guys want advice for building artifacts, you go melodic strings, get a golden crown, just one, right? Splendid melodic strings, and a Rui Scepter to give you crowd control. And then on top of that, then demon bells for energy feed. You don't need a Punisher of Immortal, and you do definitely not need a second melodic strings. Unfortunately, that is 2 completely wasted artifacts, which is 8 artifacts that could have been a Rui Scepter and a Splendid Demon Bell, which means we could have had 8 Demon Bells on this account, but we don't. And that's really, really unfortunate. And there's only so much artifact swapping you can do to fix that. Unfortunately, you can't. The game is not that forgiving to making that much of a heavy investment in the wrong direction. So it's really important that you guys know what you're doing, because if you spend money and run down a path that ends up being disastrous, it could end up with all that money being wasted. On top of that, our Transcendence heroes, you can see we've got the same problems. Sword Flash, Eos, Asmodel. 3 damaging Transcendence heroes. In this game, you can only put one of them in a home. You can only really invest in a single one because you only get so many Celestial Island resources. If you saw our last account review, you would see an account that has an SS Mockman, and even they are struggling to have a max home because they're a new player. So how on earth can you justify 3 damage-dealing heroes? Well, I suppose with Asmodel the Dauntless, he's a tenant for Sword Flash, and the owner of this account said, well, Asmodel looks pretty cool. I agree. I have one. But then the Eos doesn't really do anything. Not really a hero that's amazing for support. Sure, she can steal energy, and I suppose that's nice, but we want really powerful support Transcendence heroes. And there are so many to choose from. We've got Lord of Fear Aspen, whose crowd control is unbelievably good. This guy, genuinely fantastic, really good early Transcendence hero. You've got Halora, who can bring further damage to your damage dealers. Really strong. You've got Mystic Fairy Freya, a hero who improves your protection, your shields, whilst also giving you more attack and more damage to poisoned enemies. There are so many good heroes in this game that are transcended that can support your main hero, and that's how you need to think. You need to think about turning one main damage dealer into an absolute hero by giving them support heroes. Unfortunately, with the Sword Flash here, we can't really fix that. And that's true for a lot of these heroes. Never before have I seen an account where I actually believe I don't like any of the heroes. This Seer, only E1. This Garuda, E2. This Vulcan, E3. Not doing anything for me. The Onkiramaru, 10-star. No other copies. The owner of the account fed them away. Awful decision, because Onkiramaru, one of the best tenants in the game. Please don't make that mistake yourselves. We've got Natalie here that hasn't even proven herself to be good. She's a terrible hero. Her abilities just don't bring anything. She's really balanced, and that's an issue. A lot of support heroes that we do use have very strong broken abilities, like Gurk, Olivia, right? Amon-Ra's bubbles. They're really strong. Whereas Natalie just seems really mid, and she's very slow, so she doesn't really offer much. On top of that, we don't know if her Transcendence form is going to be good yet, so this is a very preemptive build, and in a game where light and dark food is rare, bit of an over-enthusiastic thing to do that could cost you 5 soul symbols, and on this account, we cannot afford to be making mistakes that cost us soul symbols. Further to that, the Queen, we've already said, not great. Vesa, not great. Aspen, not great. Amon-Ra, I'd rather a carry, but that's probably the only hero on here I kind of like, and these Transcendence heroes do not synergize. So there's so much that needs to be fixed, so much that needs soul symbols, but as I said, we only have 20. So how do you fix this? How do you go from where we are now to where we want to be in the future? Well, surprisingly, I don't think we do the glory challenge, which might shock some of you. But the reason I don't think we do the glory challenge is because we have enough of the essence to do the whole bottom row, assuming we do the middle row at the same time. So I think, weirdly enough, the best thing for this account, you've got to stockpile soul symbols. You need to save up 60, 70 soul symbols, just so that you can go and do the whole bottom row of the glory challenge all in one go. And that's going to be a massive overhaul opportunity. So the owner of this account, Mafia, please, please, Mafia, save as many soul symbols as you can. Don't use them to try and fix this. You need them to go do that glory challenge, because as soon as you get those things on the account, that's going to help you in the long term. So you are on a massive grind, and it's a huge uphill struggle, because you really are going to struggle to make progress with this account anyway. Let's go look at the guild tech. That's what you guys want to see, so let's go see what we've got. Warrior tech doesn't exist, really. It's an absolute mess. Mage tech? I mean, why do we have an EOS if we have no mage tech? Ranger? What? Assassin's the middle ring? And where's your guild tech? Did you seriously spend it all on Guild Solidus? There's so many stats lost. Oof. That's terrible. So, literally, you've got one full guild tech and that's it. And it's only the inner ring. Mafia, I think you have succeeded at making every single possible mistake, which is a rough title, because you just cannot magic guild coins back. Like, there are accounts like the VIP series, which has been on for 2 years, and that still hasn't fully completed all guild trees. I still have one left to do. And then you said you stopped playing for a few months, your guild kicked you, and then you weren't in a guild for ages, so you weren't even getting guild coins. Yep, that happens. Should have joined a guild back ASAP. And how much attacks on the Sword Flash? 2 million. You want to know how this Sword Flash has 2 million? It's the treasure train. Because they went all in on Anniversary. We've spent hundreds on this account for Anniversary. So at least the treasure train has 635,000 attack. But you know what's really upsetting about this? Mafia, the owner of this account, hadn't seen any of my videos or guides when they started doing this Anniversary event. But they did see a guide that recommended getting this. The attack HP artifact in the treasure train. This is dreadful, because attack and HP percentage scaling does very, very little for heroes in this game. It doesn't affect tenants because it's not equipped to them, it's in the treasure train, and it doesn't really affect big, heavy upgraded heroes because they already have massively inflated attack and HP that's all fixed, and that cannot be scaled. So stuff from the Celestial Island doesn't scale with this. Stuff given to you by the treasure train doesn't scale with this. Attack and HP percentage scaling only affects raw base level stats, and there's already so many percentage modifiers that this, in the grand scheme, does hardly anything. Which is why I recommend it to everybody to grab the crit damage one, because crit damage is an impactful skill. And by going in on this, you can allow yourself to build many, 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 many different things. And by not having this upgraded, you're missing out on so much potential crit damage because you chose the wrong thing. And it's just repeat problem after repeat problem after repeat problem. People say Idle Heroes is a game that requires no skill. That is not true. Idle Heroes has so many pitfalls you can fall into because you can choose the wrong things, you can invest in the wrong things, you can build the wrong stuff. And even as simple as rewards from events are as easy as to make a mistake from, right? It's unfortunate, but people are still dumb enough to make this mistake, and it's not their fault. Attack and HP percentage scaling is of course something that looks good on paper, but if someone who is in a platform to share with you information basically shares with you that wrong information and tells you, oh, well, attack and HP scaling is great, unfortunately, you will listen to that person. And therefore, by watching the wrong content creator or watching someone who makes that mistake, that ends up affecting people who spend money on this game. and it's horrid. And I think there's a really massive, massive important part for people in this community to realize that there are people out here that do spend tons of money, that need guidance, and even something slightly misleading can cause them to make a massive, massive error, and that's really unfortunate. What's nice, though, is you can upgrade this boat, so I guess we can go for a level 2 on this exquisite dragon boat, so that's nice. Not that that boat's any good, it's actually pretty horrendous, but there you go, let's do it anyway. Quick ascend, there you are. Level 2. That's nice. And people joke about things that new players don't know. I know they do, and people ridicule new players and take the mick out of new players without helping them, right? We were all new and ignorant once, but then you back that ignorance up with money and it suddenly gets dangerous. Because you look at an account like this, and I'm heartbroken. Because I know just how much progress this account could have made if they were given guidance and direction and help. Because it's not that this player was like, oh, I don't want to be good. It's they just didn't know what they needed. So they just kind of fumbled around. And when you find out that you could have made way more progress, that can crush you. That could be a horrible feeling, right? Imagine that you've gone and spent $9,000 on a game only to find out that all the decisions you made with that money were just not actually progress developing like you thought they'd be. That actually, when you look at this game and go, oh, it's so hungry, people spend tons of money on this game and have hardly any progress to show for it. Well, yeah. But then you look at something like the VIP series, that account is huge and has spent, you know, only a couple thousand more. It's mad. Decision making in this game affects so much. And also, a lot of people think that you can just build together heroes and send them in. I've argued with people countlessly on the internet about this stuff. But no, right? The heroes you choose and the progress you make results in more progress, which results in more resources, which generates you way more power and way more progress, which is really, really important. And Mafia, the owner of this account, just said, yeah, you're not going to quit or anything, but it sucks to realize that you're making way less progress than you thought you were, because you don't know, right? Ignorance is bliss. Or even, like, when you don't know, you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. So you can look at something and say, hey, that looks good. And, you know, I'm fortunate that I do know these things, but it's my job to know these things. And obviously, that's why people come for account reviews. So I know this might have sounded like a bit of a rant, but it is. I'm really upset about this account. And it could be easy to ridicule this person. It could be easy to tear them apart, but it's not their fault. They just didn't know and didn't join the community. And you could say, why on earth would you spend money on a game without researching it first? Well, yeah, it's a fair argument. But we are where we are. There's no point pointing fingers and saying shoulda, coulda, woulda. It doesn't help. So how do we help this account? Well, we've got to make some tough decisions. We have 20 soul symbols, and there's not a lot we can do with them. So we've got to decide where we're going to resource. And I think the best thing right now, honestly, is probably to heavy invest in this sword flash, because that's not going to use any soul symbols. We need some 10 stars to do that, though, and we don't have any. So I'm going to look around. Can we build a 10-star hero anywhere? Well, we've got evidence of an Eloise right down here. That's strange. I don't know where she came from exactly, but she exists. That's interesting. What about Fortress? Do we have 5 copies of anyone here? Nope. Abyss? Not really. Forest? Malassa! Oh! Hello, Malassa. Malassa might just save us. Yeah, we can regress Garuda, but that's going to use soul symbols that we need to save. To anyone that thinks regressing a hero right now is going to help, it's not. It's not. We need to save soul symbols because we actually have enough to do the top end of the glory challenge. So I want us to save 60 to 70 soul symbols so we can do all this in one go. So if we start wasting soul symbols now, all we're doing is kneecapping potential progress in the future. Every bit of soul symbol needs to be saved until we can do a full max, right? We have to stockpile, which is sad, but we've just got to make do with what we've currently got. So let's build that Eloise, let's build that Malassa, because we can do that without wasting soul symbols. So let's make ourselves 10-star Eloise, nice and easy, and oh my god, no, what? Oh, why? Promotion stones, really? Really? How? This is another reason you don't pre-build Transcendence heroes like this. That Aspen, Vesa, and Queen are just gobbling up your promotion stones to just sit on your account and do nothing. Please, to all people that think pre-building Transcendence heroes months and months and months in advance is a good idea, stop. Because this is actual evidence of why it's bad, right? Because Queen isn't doing anything for this account. She's a glorified doorstop, and we have no promotion stones to actually go and fix this. And I don't want to start pulling promotion stones from chests because we already have tons of E5s anyway. It's just every single one of them is completely useless. 4 stars we could destroy. 3 stars we could destroy. I don't even know if we can justify that, to be honest. I mean, you hardly have any 3 stars. Yeah, so your 4 stars are useless. You'll never ever get enough 3 stars to finish off those 4 stars. Oh! Hello! Hello! Oh, you got no gold? That's fine, though. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. Let's frickin' go. Come on, promotion stone. Let's get this. This is gonna help. Thank goodness Aspen Dungeon's open. Right, time to build 10-star Molasses then. So put these copies in here. Put in a 9-star. Put in our 6 stars we made. Now we need 13 fodder heroes. So we got Demon Hunters, Facelesses, all these guys down here at the bottom. Not gonna feed Geista. That would be stupid. Annoyingly, we have to keep Garuda. Molasses, we've already put our copies in, so we can feed Molasses. We need 5 more, so it's Molasses, Valkyries. Really? It might be Vesa and Starlight. Yeah. There you go. We have no Stellar Shards. This is why you never choose Crystals of Transcendence. Because what we have to do to have a powerful Sword Flash is end up with 2 Transcendence heroes that have nothing. And I bet you we can't even get that Sword Flash to Tree of Origin 5. Let's find out. Right? We're going to strip everything. We're going to just go maximum Stellar Shards. There's no way. There is no way. Yep. We do not have enough Stellar Shards for this. Wow. I never thought I could be beaten by an account. But, like... This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. We can get Tree of Origin 4. We can't even get to Tree of Origin 5. To fix this, you have to follow these really, really important rules. And eventually you will have a better account. Stop picking damage artifacts. Get yourself a Rui Scepter to Splendid. Then, from now on, only get Demon Bells. Whenever you have the choice to choose Sublimation, pick Sublimation. Right? Artifacts will come. They always do. But Sublimation is far rarer and far more important. Your account will get a massive injection of Stellar Shards soon because of the Zhongzi. Your bonus rewards are pretty huge. Actually, they're not even as huge as I thought they'd be. Wow. What have you getting up to? You got to 80? Nice. Nice. Okay, that's good. So yeah, 1.4 million Stellar Shards coming through here. 28 cores. Use your cores to get spheres for Stellar Shards. We will use those Stellar Shards to take this Sword Flash to Tree of Origin 5. That will make her stronger. Will she be amazing? Not really. Ideally, we want crit attack on here. Do you have any dust? Hardly any. Okay. I bet you that's because we've got a ton of wasted stones on the heroes we're not using. Yep. Even Natalie gets a stone. Freaking brilliant. Heck yeah. Wasted dust. Right. On top of that, we're going to want to go ahead and build her aggressively. Lethal Fight Back, that's nice. Control Purify, please, with damage. If you need speed, you can switch to speed. If she's never triggering Unbending Will, you can switch to Balance Strike. But I promise you, she probably will trigger Unbending Will. On top of that, we are looking at a Sword Flash that can get a higher level, but you got no Spirit. So again, if you're investing in these heroes like this, see how you're going wide? You're investing loads of gold and loads of Spirit into heroes you're not using. That's going to waste your Spirit. So again, at some point, we're going to want to get rid of this Queen. We're going to want to get rid of the Natalie. We're going to want to get rid of just the heroes you're not using, or shouldn't be using, because they're going to be taking away from your potential ability to do things. Like, for example, this 9-star Ignis that can energy feed your Sword Flash is more useful than this hugely invested in Queen. Now, on top of that, when we get to Soul Symbols, we want to get to 60, 70 of them, right? That means we can then strip using 10, right? Rip that all off Sword Flash, get all of the stuff back. This is when you've got enough Stellar Shards to get to level 120. When that's the case, what you can do is go into the Glory Challenge, and you can build up a hero in each faction, right? So we start off with Shadow Abyss, we got the Fortress Forest, we got the Light and Dark. That's going to get you 60,000 more Spiritual Essence, which will be absolutely enough to take you up to 1.25 million. So when you can get to 1.25 million of those spiritual essence, you could start doing the lower levels here, and that's why we'll save up like 60, 70 soul symbols to do this, because what we'll do is we'll build one all the way up to Tree of Origin level 120 in Shadow, regress that, do it again in Abyss, do it again in Fortress, and what you'll do is you'll simultaneously fix all your problems. So you'll get rid of the Queen, you'll build her up to level 120, strip her down, then Queen's gone, problem solved. You'll do the same with Garuda, build her up to 120, bang, problem solved, regress. And whilst you're doing that, you can also do your seal lands if you haven't already done them. You can do the same with a hero in every single faction, and that will be one opportunity in each faction to fix your mistake. So what you'll be doing is you'll be doing the single most optimal thing you can do on your account, which every account should do, while simultaneously solving all of your problems. And by doing that, we can then fix the account. Because you'll not only be giving yourself progress, you'll be removing the mistakes. And only then can you build an account in a direction where we can start to see good progress. Please, Mafia, stay with the community. Join us. We will help you, guide you make smart decisions in the future. And if you are a person out there who has just had their mind opened to all the mistakes you're making, please do join our community. It is my job to help you people. I make videos on YouTube for the very reason that accounts like this exist. People say to me, MK, why did you start streaming? Why did you start making YouTube videos? It's because I was once a spender who didn't know what they were doing, and I never ever wanted anyone to go down that path again. I got into debt. For a year, I was in debt of $2,000. I was borrowing money off my family. I was borrowing money off my girlfriend at the time to play Idle Heroes. It was bad. I was addicted. It was a huge issue, and I never wanted anyone to fall down that problem again of either spending and investing on stuff that wasn't good value, or even just spending and investing when they couldn't. So why do I make videos for Idle Heroes? It's to help people from making these kind of mistakes or even spending more when they don't need to. So, folks, it's been a pretty emotional account review for me today. Pretty heated. Even this account, which is easily probably the most difficult account review I've ever had to go through, is fixable. It just takes time and patience and some diligence from Mafia. I'll see you next time. Have a good week. Happy idling.